Hello, and welcome to the All Night Gamers Podcast, episode 139. Hi, hello, hi. Hope you're doing well. We're doing great because we've got Zelda. That's the first time we've said that
A
probably
long
in a
time.
long time. We've been like, yeah, we're doing great. Things are great. Shouldn't be that attached to Zelda for mental stability, but yeah, what it is. We own up to it.
I got my
I mean,
amiibo in,
are we
so I'm
great?
happy.
We're happy
Um,
because of Zelda, but
we're happy because of Zelda.
mental health
Otherwise,
in the tank.
Therefore, I will take that and run with it instead of taking a second to think about it, because if I think about it, then I'm not going to be happy anymore. So just
and I like being happy,
shovel
so
all that to the corner for now. Come back to that
and let's
later.
get on the show.
Um, yeah, so Tears of the Kingdom's out. Don't worry, we'll spend plenty of time talking about it, both in the beginning and in the end. The end will be discussion on our personal likes and experiences, but we've got some news to talk about with that first. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So it's already on track to be the biggest Zelda release of all time. Shocker. Um, it outperformed. So last year, the best performing game on launch weekend in France, and I say France because the only numbers we have right now are from Europe. Um, but last year, the numbers from France specifically for the biggest launch game was FIFA 23, and that was like 320,000 physical copies. Um, and Zelda has already sold over 400,000.
There.
They sold 400,000 ish
Oh.
during their launch weekend, so that's good evidence there. I don't have a lot of the numbers in front of me because really it's very big numbers. But you should look it up if you have more interest into it. The UK is exploding all those numbers from that. Really, all the numbers that have come out from the weekly UK sales charts that we get it's just going to be gigantic. And all the numbers they talk about are physical only because Nintendo doesn't release their digital numbers.
I mean, they do, kind of.
Yeah,
when we get
they do, but we don't know until they say, and then at that point, it's just going to include all of them. So yeah, it'd be like a lot of math to figure out digital specifics. But if the physical is selling that much in this day and age, then the digital has to be
digital
crazy.
selling. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially
So good
here in
job,
the
Tears of the
States.
Kingdom. Good job, Nintendo.
Yeah, good. You know what? Good little marketing strategy for. I would be really um interested in seeing the rate that the vouchers sold after they announced.
You could use
Actually,
Tears of the Kingdom on it.
yeah,
Yeah, I
after they
bet.
announced that Tears of the Kingdom could be used, and it still was $100.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that because I wonder how much of the digital sales is with voucher use
Yeah,
because of the $50 deal.
because Alex,
Definitely a number we won't get, but it would be great to know.
Yeah. But yeah, so obviously, New Zelda is big. I don't really think that's much of a headline, but gotta say it anyway. The one of the pirates of Tears of the Kingdom before it launched literally got tracked down. They know who it was. They know when. They know where. They know how. Uh, and I found this article from Kotaku about it. So it obviously the game leaked like over a week before it launched. We talked about that. We gave out those warnings.
We were disappointed.
And obviously Nintendo exploded with copyright takedowns on pretty much any platform you can think of: Discord, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, anything. So this user called Revolutionary Toe he posted on the Switch Pirates subreddit, which, first off, if you're pirating games, don't join a community about that. Don't do that, stupid.
Brilliant.
Yeah, great
I'll
job
never
there.
expect it.
That's great. That's a great job. He shared a copy, or they shared a copy of a Digital Millennium Copyright Act notice sent to them by Comcast, warning about the infringement activity. It also contained information on which Tears of the Kingdom file the player was pirating, where from, and how. He states, did Nintendo somehow find out? They know the exact means of how I did it. What the fuck?
Gee,
I
I
guess they do.
wonder.
Um,
No, definitely not. Nintendo's not smart enough to use the internet. Have you seen their internet? They don't know what a subreddit is.
can I still
They're
play
not.
if I just
Oh,
disconnect from Wi-Fi, or should I just do what they say and hope they don't take action? What?
This kid's 13.
Yeah. Uh. So.
bro, I don't understand.
Well, I mean, you get what you're paying for, and if what you're paying is nothing, then what you get is punishment. Oops.
As you deserve. Look,
Yeah.
I know it's like a sticky situation because Nintendo doesn't release or re-release all their games, but like there's a very fine line. If the game is brand new, you're stealing, and you will have Nintendo come after you.
Especially if it's right before it comes out.
Yeah, like my general like moral compass on this is that if the game is no longer available to purchase, or technically is but is through a super convoluted means that requires obtaining unsupported hardware, then that means it's pretty much dead, so whatever. But if the game is like active, like even still, like stealing Breath of the Wild is still stealing. You know what I'm saying? Like once the Switch ages and becomes like an old platform that's not actively supported hardware wise, even if the eShop's still available, then that's a different question. Now you shouldn't specifically wait until that happens. You kind of suck if you do that. But you know what? Whatever. I'm not here to.
These
Police
games,
you.
I'm not here to sit on a soapbox.
Yes,
'Cause,
we
but
like,
are.
these games,
That's why we've done this for
they
3 years.
these games do not get made if people do not buy them because they're waiting for to be able to play them for free. They're
yeah,
not going to go for free, not legitimately.
yeah, and like
But
I,
Microsoft's been hurting.
Yeah,
They can't sell games because nobody on Xbox wants to buy
buys
games because they know they
of
can
Game
get it with
Pass,
Game Pass.
and I guarantee that's why Nintendo doesn't do it for any of their big Switch releases. It's only for outdated hardware.
yeah, um, and like I'm not saying I'm clean. I emulate stuff constantly. I own multiple analog systems. Where do you think I get the games? Like, but I also give Nintendo so much fucking money that I don't care. I have most of the games anyway. I'm not going to sweat over the fact that I downloaded a copy of Kirby's Return to Dreamland on, or Kirby's Dream Land 2 on Game Boy or whatever. Like I subscribe to NSO. I probably have the game on the shelf, and if I don't, then it's super old or super expensive. Like
Or both.
I emulate Chrono Trigger. No duh. Who's gonna buy one? Why would I do that? Like, yeah, I've got plenty of GameCube games that I can play on my computer if I want. I also have 3 GameCubes, so does it, like, for someone like me? I don't really care if I'm emulating stuff because they get my money anyway. Like, it's not like I'm cheating the system. Uh, but yeah, I just kind of don't. I feel if it seems pretty obvious, just like don't
Just don't
get
emulate
brand new things. If it's available, if it's the current thing, then don't. If it's not the
especially
current
when it's
thing,
the
then who
newest
cares?
thing.
Yeah. If it's the old thing, then they won't care. But if it's the new
They might
thing,
care a
And,
little,
well,
but
they'll care, but like they're not going to, bring down the full force of their
yeah, like
legality on you.
if you mod your 3DS and put a copy of Kirby Planet Robobot on there, you're not going to get swatted, but I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me. I don't really know what he was expecting. That there probably are 13. You're right.
Well, like the amount of people who are like, "Look, I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom early, haha!" at Nintendo of America, and it's like,
What do you expect?
you really want
That's
or what's
the
gonna
that's the
happen
video
here?
game equivalent of when you get pulled over. If you got out of the car very quickly and gave the officer your wallet by pointing it at them like this, that's the video game equivalent of that. Here, officer, take my wallet.
Yeah, no,
The
it's
mean cop stole my wallet as I handed it off to
all
the.
I did was frantically get out of the car and put my wallet in their face, and for some reason they shot me. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Also, I found so now that the game's out, obviously the developers have been interviewed significantly, especially Anuma and Fibarashi. I can't remember his name, but obviously a lot of interviews have been going on now
Interviews.
that they can say things. And I found this one that I wanted to bring up specifically. Here's the question. This is to Anuma. On that note, I think a lot of people share the viewpoint that Ocarina of Time was kind of the starting point for one era of Zelda games, laying the foundation for the several titles that came after it. Do you see Breath of the Wild as establishing the new blueprint or foundation of the next several Zelda games for years to come? Anuma says, with Ocarina of Time, I think it's correct to say that it did kind of create a format for a number of titles in the franchise that came after it, but in some ways that was a little restricting for us. While we always aim to give the player freedoms of certain kinds, there were certain things that format didn't really afford in giving people freedom. Of course, the series continued to evolve after Ocarina of Time, but I think that's also fair to say now that we've arrived with Breath of the Wild and the new type of more open play that the freedom that it affords. Yeah, I think it's correct to say that it has created a new kind of format to the series to proceed from. So the reason I wanted to bring that up is because it's interesting to me how we've come so far in the Zelda format and timeline and also the scope of games that Ocarina of Time is now viewed as restrictive in terms of development, which makes sense. And that's not slander on the game, but compared to our capabilities nowadays, going back to that format is kind of restricting. So
So I
it
actually think the game that reached Ocarina's like peak potential with that kind of format was A Link Between Worlds. Just because you could have any item
yeah.
just from Ravio at the beginning. It's not exactly the same, but it is more in that vein of Zelda that I hope we don't lose. Like we can keep getting Breath of the Wild ones, but I want some older style with 8 dungeons and like what Zelda's known for.
Yeah. But I mean it feels like we talk about this every other week. Nintendo's thing about, new stuff. They always want to do new stuff. They don't really want to do redo things unless it's Mario Kart. Um
Yeah,
I'm
Mario Kart
curious
keeps the
to see
lights
how
on.
long it would be before we ever potentially get one of those cuz I foresee for the near future anyway, say like less than 10 years. The only games that we'll get from Zelda that aren't this style of open world game are going to be like remakes, which I'm okay with. Like I'm all for the Ages of or Oracle of Seasons and Ages remakes. I'm down for a Minish Cap remake. I'm down for there's several Zelda games that I would like to have remade.
Like especially if they're
Um,
gonna do amiibo like they did for Link's Awakening.
yeah,
Like just putting uh, putting the twist on the style and then making that style in real life. Not even just with the amiibo, right? Like they also did it. Um, was it the E3 or PAX East? No, PAX West that they did like the diorama for it. Do I remember that?
Kind
The
of.
chain jump and everything.
We know what you're talking about. We just
yeah.
don't know when.
Say say that question again.
He's
The
asking about the 3D diorama.
for Link's Awakening.
What about it?
Do y'all remember that?
Yes,
Yeah,
but not when it happened.
So that's don't worry, we'll talk plenty about the actual game and stuff at the end of the show. So don't go anywhere, but we must proceed.
Press on.
Um, the European Commission cleared the acquisition of Blizzard. EU cleared it.
Yay.
CMA is pissed about it. And they're
Because
standing by their decision. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if they've cleared it because unless Microsoft can overturn the CMA's decision, which is gonna be basically impossible. None of their decisions have ever been overturned. And they gave 400 pages of reasons for why it shouldn't be passed.
that's a lot.
Like Microsoft would have to find a flaw in the numbers that they gave because the CMA based it on those numbers.
That that's a pretty good place to start. I gotta say.
Also, I think this is extra fascinating because Brexit happened. So the CMA is a UK thing. And now that the UK is not part of Europe, at least politically, I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is the popcorn moment.
Yeah.
So like one suggestion people keep thinking will happen, it will not, is that Microsoft will threaten to pull out of.
Don't they make a lot of their money for the Xbox? And
Yes. And if
UK?
they pull out though,
you know what else they make? Literally every computer.
yeah, exactly. They would have to leave all that.
What do you mean pull out?
But if they did,
let Apple have it.
every nation's gonna go after them for threatening to abuse. Like they'll be like, "Oh shit, they have enough power to threaten to leave and mess with this country."
That
Then
doesn't
we're
sound
gonna
very
break
not
up
monopolistic.
Microside.
Microside.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's no world where they threaten to pull out because they will get hit with the ban hammer.
Yeah, like
not every country in the world is as business friendly as the United States is.
And by business friendly, we mean corrupted.
Tomato.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin. Yeah, I like, and there's just that's not an option. Pull out of a country that's like literally one of the biggest modernized societies that heavily relies on computers. So you're gonna
but people
leave that.
People legitimately believe this.
And then like, sure, Apple gets it, but Apple's already not super happy with Europe because they're being forced to use USB-C over there now, starting in a couple years.
Europe becomes Linux world. We can't be threatened. We use our own thing.
The official United Kingdom Linux distribution.
This is how Linux wins the fight.
I would love to watch the Linux chat and a different Discord I'm in for all my homies up here that do Linux, because I don't know. I want to see the reaction to
that possibility
in the timeline where the European Union and or the UK mandate and control a distribution of Linux and what kind of Linux it is. I don't really know the differences much between different kinds, but I know there's different kinds and why like some things, just because I'm in that chat, like I see them complaining about it. So I would love to see the heat from whatever decision would be made there, but that almost certainly, I don't think that's a timeline we're going to see.
No, definitely not, because Microsoft's not that dumb. And if they were that dumb, then Europe would go to Apple. But The possibility that that timeline does exist is hilarious.
Yeah, Apple. Even if Apple's upset about it, they would definitely not be as upset if Microsoft just completely pulled out.
Yeah, I mean, if Apple became a monopoly in Europe, one, they'd have their own fun legal time with that. Two, I'm pretty sure Apple would stop caring about what the EU makes them do, or I don't know. Like, there's really just there's no way. Like, Microsoft leaving Europe is the equivalent of putting a barrel in their mouth. Like, why would you do that?
Because people on the internet said it was a good idea.
We're not going to sell you We're not going to sell you Windows anymore because you won't let us not make games for the Xbox.
Oh, so this is what would happen if Elon Musk was in charge of Microsoft.
He would back out.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. Yeah, yes. Oh my
Have you
god.
seen how he runs
Yeah.
Twitter? Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
dude.
that he would absolutely
Hey,
do that.
actually, let's do it. Let's have him get Microsoft, then we can all work for Microsoft, just the same way we all work for Twitter.
That's right. Y'all remember that time we worked at Twitter?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, but I still work there. What are you talking about?
I'm on
My
that grind.
manager
I'm a
got
2-job kind
fired.
of guy. I
My
love working
manager
8
got
hours a week.
fired, and they didn't fire me, so I still work there. What are you talking about?
So we can come to you with our complaints about Twitter. It's so much worse now, and I didn't even use it before. But at least it worked.
Ugh. So, yep, I think we've had our first popcorn moment. I can't wait to see where this goes. Moving on, also
But none of us believe Microsoft's that dumb. If they are, we have overestimated their intelligence.
yeah, if they do that, that's I don't even know if I can comprehend what would the fallout of that. But-
Please, Europe, go to Linux if they do it.
Yeah.
I want to see this timeline.
It would be so funny.
So moving on, the Splatoon 3 season, the newest season just got announced. It's called the Sizzle Season. Coming June 1st, little kickoff to summer, the new season. Get
I
a
wonder
new.
if the DLC will come soon.
That's a good
Probably
question.
not.
Yeah.
So there's a new map. It's called Barnacle and Dime. It's basically an indoor shopping mall. There are a couple new main weapons. There's the paintbrush, which
Aren't brushes already pain?
yeah, well
Yes, but this one has longer range.
this one
Oh,
is
God.
the paintbrush, both figuratively and literally, because it's a brush with range.
No.
Yeah.
They don't need that.
So it looks like the paintbrush that's like a fan style, like a cone shape. For all you painters out there listening to this podcast,
You can tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever. I'm sure there's an actual name for that kind of brush. I don't know. And then also the S Blast 92, which is literally the Super Nintendo Super Scope.
That's cool. I like that one.
It's a blaster that is pretty long range. It looks to be a very long range, very low fire rate kind of blaster that will also insta kill if you hit the explosion.
Grant, are you gonna run that like the Luna Blaster?
I mean, I'm gonna try it. We'll see. I can't, even if I didn't like screwing around with the Clash Blaster, I would have to try it anyway because it's the Super Scope and I'm a Super Nintendo slut, so I'd have to try
I've
it
got to
anyway.
see if this is good. It's awful, but
There's a new Salmon Run stage, the Jammin' Salmon Junction. They didn't really show all too much of that, but there is a new one. Humpback Pump Track returns from Splatoon 2.
yay.
Much welcomed. And also we now have challenges that look pretty interesting. They showed off a couple. Too many Trizukas is one where it looks like everyone just has Trizukas. I don't know if it's the whole time or if that's like everybody's special they get every minute. Like if it's just like a quick burst of everybody gets it all of a sudden, or
Right,
if that's
can't
what
tell.
everybody. Yeah, I don't know. But there's a lot of Trizukas. There are too many from what I saw. Foggy
Accurate
Motion,
name.
which is just the map but super foggy. very low draw distance, essentially.
So, like,
We already have one like that.
yeah, would isn't the one of the special ones you can get with? No, that's just like a regular one, right? Like in Salmon Run, where it's
Yeah,
just like
I was gonna say when you do Grisco, you can get that, but now it's just like any map, any multiplayer map can do that.
Oh,
that's cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
They were
That's
like, we
gonna
already
be
have the work done on this. Let's just throw it in.
How do we make Splatoon feel like we're playing Minecraft on a computer from 2011?
amazing.
Do you miss the fog at the bottom of the void? It's not in the game anymore.
And also Extreme Jump Battle, which they barely showed anything about. Like there was not very much really shown when they showed the gameplay of it, but essentially it just looks like there's a lot of jumping involved, of like super jumping.
Accurate name is accurate.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah, I know. Wow, too
Amazing.
many Trizukas. There's too many Trizukas. Foggy Nation, Foggy Notion. There's Foggy and it's noted. Extreme jump battle. There is jumping and it's a battle. I don't know about the extreme part yet. We'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, again, that's coming June 1st, so just about 2 weeks away. Should be pretty
Good.
interesting. All right, and with that, on to Collector's Corner, the normally segment where we go around and talk about what games been playing. I can't wait to hear how much not Tears of the Kingdom everybody's been playing. So let's see. Alex, you start us off this week.
Okay, I beat 2 games this week. I beat the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog and Jedi Survivor.
Oh wow!
And then
Okay.
I've played a bit of Tears of the Kingdom.
I didn't think that was actually going to happen. Okay, nice. How's so? What's the rating on Jedi?
Like an 8.5. It's really good. There's a few issues, but I had a great time. My score might be a little biased low, though, just because issues. I don't know. Everything from the first game's improved, so I think I should rate it higher than that probably. But
I mean, 8.5 isn't really a
yeah,
bad rating. I mean, like
no, it's a
not
great
perfect,
rating,
but
but
not perfect, but an enjoyable experience, like worth playing, for sure.
yeah, they just need to fix like the. So I crashed like twice during my playthrough, and I know people have crashed way more than that.
That's okay. What's it? Disney Dreamlight Valley crashes like every other time Chelsea plays it, and that thing's been out for a year.
At least Jedi they'll fix it probably. Dreamlight's not.
They went. We have the money, which is exactly why I didn't buy the racing game that they promoted for like a solid year,
Yeah,
and then finally released a couple weeks ago.
my roommate bought that.
All right, nice. Cameron.
So, let's see. This week I got the collector's edition of Tears of the Kingdom, a regular edition because I sent the collector's edition home because otherwise I wouldn't have it at all. After like 5 days of delay, I got my amiibo for Tears of the Kingdom, so collection's back up to 100%. Been playing Breath of the. I played a little bit of Breath of the Wild last week, trying to readjust. Splatoon 3, obviously. I actually played with Grant.
We
A
don't.
bit.
I don't know why I'm peacing to the camera as if we're recording this video, but
We obviously record video.
it's practice. One day, we will eventually.
One day.
Cursed.
One day. Y'all start watching and start commenting that you want to see us on video, and we'll do it.
Maybe.
See, the problem is like I really want to do that if we're all in the same town and we could have like
Yeah,
a
and we could.
room with us in it and just like a couple cameras, then that would be
Yeah,
super. I can like all the rich podcasts do with all their fancy equipment and time and stuff.
or like Scott does with his
Studio
friends when
lights.
he's recording
Hmm.
just random shit. Like that's what I want is just the ability to do it.
Yeah.
But it's being what 12 hours from each other makes it difficult.
Oh,
We did it. We'd need to drag the guest into it.
That would make it more difficult.
Yeah, but that's special. 500 episodes. If we get enough views, we'll do it. And we'll drag all the guests.
I don't see that happening.
Well, we will hit 500 episodes. We won't hit the rest of
No.
that, but
Oh no, we will definitely hit 500 episodes. Um, I took a photo. I'm actively playing Tears of the Kingdom while we're recording. I took a photo of the backside of a black boss bokoblin. Whoops.
You taking OnlyFans photos of the bokoblins?
yeah,
Apparently.
exactly.
Whoops.
Oopsies.
Oopsie whoopsies.
Um. All right. Then for
But yeah,
me,
I think that was it.
mine's literally like the same as Cameron.
Oh, I also did Toy Story Mania. Chelsea and I went to studios on Friday, and we played on there.
Nice.
I got over 200,000. Chelsea got like 110,000 something. I don't know. But there was the car next to us. Right, you know how it's 8 seats and they're all together and
Yeah.
whoever wins. Yeah. The group next to us was like, who won? And I'm just like, that's my score on the high score screen.
Me. That's right. Disrespectfully.
Get wrecked. Get wrecked, nerds.
I did that to a family. They're like, which one of you scored over 200,000?
I kicked the
Me?
kid in the face. I said, "Get down here."
They're like,
Put some
dang,
respect
how'd
on my
you
name.
do it? I was like, well, today hasn't been busy at the park. So I've just been playing all day.
Yeah.
Which you think would make you worse because Toy Story Mania is hard on the arms, let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely. It is quite painful.
I want a button.
See,
I
don't
know
know if
how
that
to
actually makes
button
you
ma-
better though. Like
Well,
just
Toy
because
Story Mania isn't speedrunner friendly.
Facts.
I got
I can't do half an
600,000.
A press.
Hey, that was my joke.
uh, I did that to a family. That killed me. That's hilarious. All right. Well, for me, literally the same as Cameron. Got the collector's edition. It happily in frame. I didn't plan for that, but it's over there. I finally got the last of my amiibo orders in today. I It was the Wind Waker, the Toon Link and Toon Zelda 2-pack finally came in. So I got
Nice.
all the ones I ordered.
I'm kind of questioning if I should have ordered some of them while they were available. Just because Toon Link and Toon Zelda haven't been available in forever. But I I don't need a full second collection because eventually I am going to have to move the main one. I also didn't need to spend the money.
Of
I
course
say
you
having
do.
bought.
No,
I mean,
no.
I bought
Cameron,
13.
you can't have buyer's remorse on Collector's Corner.
That's also true. Oh, goodbye,
Fair
Rockets.
enough.
You can be like, this is what I spent. Do you feel bad for me? But you can't be like, I regret spending the money.
Well,
That's
I
not the
I
point
don't
of this
regret.
show.
I don't regret spending the money. I just don't think I would have been able to warrant buying Twilight Princess and Majora's Mask and the Ocarina of Time and
All of them?
Wind Waker 2
All
back.
of 'em.
Yeah, the rest of them. I mean, I got the 13 from Amazon Japan.
Yeah.
You know, but I also needed some of them, and they didn't get restocked. So the rest, like
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sky. Do how
Yep,
did
got it.
Amazon end up? How did Amazon end up with Ocarina of Time and not Skyward Sword?
I have
It
no
was their
idea.
exclusive. Like
They
Ocarina
don't
of Time
want
was
it.
not an exclusive. They also didn't want Corin, and she got a restock a couple months ago.
But yeah, so got that. Got the let's see, what other amiibo did I get? I got Twilight Princess amiibo. I got Tears of the Kingdom amiibo. I got I think that's literally it. All the ones that got restocked that I needed. Um, I got a lot of time in of Tears of the Kingdom over the weekend. It was fun picking it up. The line was all the way. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because every Best Buy is laid out different. But the line from the pickup area went all the way back to the Apple part, which isn't that long, but compared to the line being non-existent every time I pick up something from there, at most I have to wait behind one person.
There,
Like the
I
fact
think
that I just
there
saw like
was
20 people there was weird.
yeah.
Who are all
Um,
you people?
did y'all see the tweet where the woman was like, "What? Why are y'all out here waiting for stuff? Like, just buy the game digitally." And it's like,
Maybe they
this,
want it physically.
Most everybody did. Go away.
go home.
Go do your own stupid. Go bully
Like,
somebody else's hobby, or do your own stupid
yeah,
one if you're gonna be mean. Um,
I,
I tried to pick it up
I,
on Thursday. Did
and they
not
didn't let you.
work. Yeah, she pulled it up and was like, "Okay, bet." And then the second guy walked up and he was like, "No."
I
And
see you.
the
No.
the person that was helping me was like, "Why not?" And they're like, "You literally can't. Like the system won't let you click the button until the street date." So I fessed up. I was like, "Yeah, I figured that would happen. I got the notification, but like I've been through this before. Like I know what the street date thing is, so I was just testing my luck. I rolled a 1. So
Like,
I was like,
sometimes
I will see y'all at 10 a.m.
the. Okay, to be fair, I think a one would be them accidentally canceling your order.
I mean, true, but just on the scenario of
Yeah.
picking it up a day early. But it was very
Yo,
hard
I
to
showed
walk
up.
away from the store looking at the pickup counter and just seeing miles of Zelda copies and collector's editions and controllers and amiibo. Like everything, the cases, all the stuff was just lined on the wall. And I was like, why? Why are you doing this? I get it
Why?
I
because
Why?
there's
see it.
Why
five.
do you already
I've
Like
have them
got
there's
the
out? You,
pickup notification. It's
yeah.
out
Like
in Australia. You could sell it to me.
no, I was like,
stop it. Get some help.
I mean, like I get it. You have probably had 5,000 pre-orders, so um, anyway. But yeah, so I got it that morning. That was nice. I like the collector's edition a lot. Uh, I didn't. I guess it didn't hit that I was getting a magnetic poster in there. That's pretty cool.
Oh, sick.
Um, yeah, it comes with like a little sticky thing that you can stick on the wall, and on the other side is a magnet, and then you can just stick the poster to that instead. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's what we got.
I didn't realize it was that, so that was a cool little surprise. I guess for me, just not really paying that much attention. Um, Steelbook's pretty cool. A little boring, to be honest. Like I like the art and stuff, but the fact that it's mostly all just one shade of brown kind of makes it feel like the Smash Steelbook. And the Smash Steelbook at
The
least had like the full art on the inside. And like, but I still, I still like it. I'm a slut. I'll take it. Um, so lots of Tears of the Kingdom, decent amount of Splatoon 3, like Cameron said. Um, what I was playing something before. Oh yeah, last week before Tears of the Kingdom came out, I broke out my 3DS and was just screwing around for a little bit. Played a little solitaire, little Pushmo, little Super Mario 3D World. Nothing much, maybe like 2 hours total of playtime over a week. So never really do a whole lot with it. But I did break it out just to mess around. And other than that, yeah, it's just been a lot of Zelda. So, does anybody have any Faye news to bring up? Since Cooper is out of office.
There's some sort of challenge with the new with one of the new like original characters. I it it's like a choose your own adventure, even though it's the same fights you would normally do. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I can't even tell you like what the grand prize for doing it is supposed to be because it doesn't make any sense. And there's some more banners. And Lost Lore and Forging Bonds started. Bullet Forms started. It's Seer's Snare. That's what it's called. That's the new game mode. I don't really understand it other than it's a choose your own adventure.
Well, all right. Oh, that's what I was forgetting. I pre-ordered the full Tears of the Kingdom guide, the hardcover edition, because who do you think I am? I wasn't
A
gonna.
scrap.
When I first saw it, I was like hard pass because I'm not about to pay $50 for a guide. But Amazon put the pre-order on sale for like 26. I was like, now you're talking. Um, it's I think 500 pages, like 496 pages or something like that. It's a big book. Uh, and it doesn't come out until like the middle of June. So I figured when I pre-ordered it, I was like, bet I've got basically a month to screw around with the game as much as I want without, like just starting to cheat. Which I'll definitely do most of the things I've wanted to do by that point. So that way, when the book comes in, I'll be able to start doing all the tiny stuff that I missed, or just like reading about things like, oh, I didn't even know there was a thing, and going and doing that, or helping with Koroks or puzzles or anything that I couldn't figure out. Although I haven't had one of those yet. And if nothing else, to sit on my shelf and look pretty and occasionally be a coffee table book.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I still like your parents' coffee table.
The one at the farmhouse that like folds open.
Yes.
Yeah, that one is pretty awesome.
What a great place to put coffee table books in the or just like
where
controllers.
nobody but me will ever use it.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a good spot for controllers though.
Facts. Okay, on to the tidbits. The Mario movie is now available on digital platforms. How much did you say it was, Alex? $30?
$30.
$30. So if you're a
Too
menace,
much without a physical copy.
yeah. If you're a menace, then go ahead.
If it was like how I got into the Spider-Verse, which is I got to buy the digital early, and then Amazon or Walmart sent me the physical copy later, and it came with another digital code, then I'd be okay with that. It's just too much for just a digital copy of a movie.
Yep. Agreed.
Just waiting for the combo pack that includes the digital, the physical.
Well, it should have been out till Mario movie did gangbusters. We would have had the Walmart Star edition.
It is. I think like that version is probably what I want. Something like that, where it's like cool and a display piece.
Yeah, because like, how many times are you gonna watch the Mario movie? Probably multiple times, but that's not a lot of time. Like, 99% of the time that item exists in your vicinity, it's going to
It'll
be
be
on a
displayed.
bookshelf for people to look
Mhm.
at because, like, yeah, the Link's Awakening art book in the collector's edition is cool to flip through every now and again, but 99% of the time I've owned it, it's been on the shelf down there as a display thing. Like, it's the same. It's just the same thing. Hell, most of my games are display pieces.
But yeah, I that definitely is what it felt like when we went home. I was like, oh wow, because it's nice seeing them all just lined up all together, even if I don't get to go home all that often anymore.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try to go home more once the wedding stuff is over, just because that takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, when chaos and anxiety isn't a driving force in your day-to-day life.
Well, that's always going to be a driving force. I have work.
well, well, to a lesser extent.
Yeah, less
Um,
going on.
yeah. For our morbid news of the week, the voice actor of Crash Bandicoot, Brendan O'Brien. It looks like O'Brien, but it has an E instead of an A, so I don't know. I'm sorry, but he passed. He's dead. He passed away at 60. Very unfortunate. Voice actor for really a lot of PlayStation titles, but his biggest node is the Crash Bandicoot stuff. Don't know how or why, but he is gone. Rest in peace. All right, now that our momentary bit of Sonder is over, Matthew Hayes, the social operations manager at Ubisoft, says, quote, I and about 60 other amazing people were laid off today with no notice. Former social operations manager at Ubisoft. Forgot that word. That's critical. Former. Yeah, I find that interesting also, given that Ubisoft said they were going to increase the number of developers on the Assassin's Creed franchise by 40%.
No, just kick that guy out.
Yeah,
his team.
but company
Yeah.
head count is down from 20,700 in September to below 20,000 thanks to office closures, layoffs, and quote tight controls on recruitments. So more animal. Every time I see AC, I think Animal Crossing,
Crossing.
not Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like Mortal Kombat and Mario Kart sharing the same abbreviation.
Yeah. Facts. So Ubisoft's having a good time. Nintendo will produce its next films under the Nintendo Pictures label. Didn't we talk about this before? Something about Nintendo Pictures?
Yeah, I think it was announced that that's what they were calling it. Well, actually, it was because they had to have it for the movie, right?
Yeah.
But
So going forward, this is what it's going to be under, is Nintendo Pictures. Obviously. Insomniac's narrative director on Spider-Man 2, quote, we are working really hard to make sure that this is the best game we've ever made. Well, yeah, don't you do that every time? We're not going to try to make this the best game ever this time. We're just going to... We're going for a 6. High 6,
yes,
low 7.
Ubisoft. Or Sega. Sega.
Sonic Team. Their best game is The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Sonic Team didn't even make that.
Also Sonic Mania, which they also did not make.
No, the best Sonic Team game is Generations, though. That's the actual game, but
Hogwarts Legacy on Switch was delayed to November.
Yeah, that's not coming out on Switch.
I feel like if it wasn't coming out on Switch, they would have already canceled it by now. Because I was reading some stuff and listening to a couple podcasts, and Spawnwave talked about it too. And basically, what I gathered is that it since the game is already out and is already exploding, or did explode, that having the Switch version immediately available isn't important if the alternative is to wait a little longer and figure out how to make it run good. Um, and I kind of agree with that because I mean I would always rather wait to have a game if it's gonna make the game better.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that I feel like needs to be said again for the people in the back because that seems to constantly happen where games come out and they aren't really finished. They're playable, but they're not finished. And I think this is smart. I hope it doesn't get canceled because I do want it on Switch. But
My assumption is that if they don't, or like that, because they're already wasting the resources on it, right? Most likely, I would think that they would back up and instead have it be like Kingdom Hearts is, where it's
Cloud,
streaming cloud.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair too.
I don't like that solution, but it is
I think I'm sure
a
the
solution.
developers know that if they do that, they're not going to get a lot of traction on Switch. Like, if you put the game out and it's good running, then you'll get decent sales off of it because I can't imagine how many people that have played Hogwarts Legacy would love to play it on the toilet, etc. Or people that don't have anything but like especially like younger kids and stuff that not like super young, but
Yeah,
that age
yeah,
where you're old enough to enjoy content like this yet don't really have the money to just drop on a new system. And if all you've got's a Switch, then like I think there's good money to be made there. So I don't think this is really like a waste of time. Um, but if they when they announce it, if they say cloud streaming, then I will have changed my opinion. Um, Sonic is doing a crossover with Crocs, I guess.
Right. Cool.
Cool. Yeah, sick. So, um, do you guys know the movie Idiocracy?
No.
uh, my senior team members talked about that. It was by the King and Hill guy, right?
I'm not really sure. I don't know all that much about like the background of the movie. My buddy Aaron up here, like hell, probably not a year ago, but almost a year ago now, showed me that. Like made me watch it with him. Um, and first off, it's a hilarious movie. It is truly. I mean, like take that with the context of it's very stupid. Obviously, the name
Yeah.
of the movie is Idiocracy, so I love it because I'm stupid. So like, I relate to these people.
Alex, and any listeners that haven't seen it. Essentially, uh, these two people that are lower intelligence in terms of our society get transported to a future where everyone is dumber than a bag of rocks.
Yeah, it's just like a dystopia of our society, and it's hilarious. But the reason I bring that up is because when that movie was being filmed, um, a guy came up with an idea for shoes that was so stupid at the time that they were like, "Let's put that in this movie because there's no way that people would wear those. It's a perfect fit." And that shoe was Crocs. There are Crocs in Idiocracy because they put it in there because they thought that shoe was so stupid that it fit perfect and no one would ever actually buy it. So it's a great thing. And look at us now, Sonic Cross Crocs.
I mean, look at Disney. They constantly have Crocs. So it's
People
clear,
wear those
clear.
to the parks, and
They
that sounds
do.
miserable to me.
I've worn them once or twice, like full day. It's not worth doing a full day, but they're nice to have if it starts absolutely pouring, as Florida is known to do.
The thing with Crocs for me is always like there's certain use cases that are clear and obvious, but I don't get why you would wear
You would,
Crocs day to day, because if you're wearing them as shoes, i.e., with socks on, then you're wearing socks
Get
with
shoes.
sandals. What are you doing? You're
yeah,
like,
true,
are you
true.
Linus Tech Tips? I don't think so. Take those off. Uh,
Stop, stop it.
and
Get some
second,
help.
if you're wearing them as sandals, why? Like I wore those a lot as a kid, and that was just because I'm never really picky about shoes. I never really have been. So the fact that my feet got all sweaty in there because it's still kind of closed, like there's not a lot of ventilation, didn't bother me as a kid. But like why? Like because like after wearing Crocs for like an hour, I just feel like I'm gonna be walking around on a slip slide.
Oh, have you seen? There's socks or Crocs with like not woolen soles, but like insoles so that your
Oh,
feet
like
don't get cold in the
stuff.
winter.
Yeah, and those are called house shoes, and that I understand. That's a good use case because you don't ever go outside. You don't let people know that you wear that unless you're comfortable enough to have them inside
Ha-
your house.
have you seen the like platform Crocs?
No, and I really don't want to. That's an abomination. I don't get the people that wear Crocs day to day, but whatever. To each their own. Um, but yeah, so funny little story about Crocs. I find that hilarious. Because now everybody wears them. Game Freak is making a new action adventure IP with a company called Private Division, which is a
Uh-huh.
weird name.
Do we trust Game Freak to make other games?
The
No.
top comment I saw from the Reddit post you put in the chat was, "This is going to be the most unfinished game of all time."
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
well, because apparently the other devs that they're teaming up with also do not make finished games.
Hmm. Um, There. Okay, now everybody, hold on to your seat for this one. There's some new titles coming to Game Pass. Don't freak out. I know we're all excited. Um, But listen to this. FIFA 23 is coming to Game Pass.
Right.
This is maximum access lounge energy.
Oh, I missed the Access Lounge.
Access lounge. But
I
yeah,
miss
so
the cringe.
yeah, I
The
love
cringe.
that's probably like one of our top 5 inside jokes is the access lounge.
It's so good.
It's
And
just so good. It's so good.
we came from marching band to watch announcements of the Access Lounge. Uh,
So, yeah,
Glory days.
the rest of this announcement is just access lounge. So FIFA 23, let's see, is available today. Eastern Exorcist is coming on May 18th, and Planet of Lana is coming on May 23rd, and
okay.
then cassette Beasts, Massive Chalice. What? Massive Chalice? What do you mean by that?
Great.
Okay, Massive
What a
Chalice
name.
and Railway Empire 2. Man, Railway Empire was so good they had to make a second one.
Exactly.
And Chicory, A Colorful Tale. Those are all basically coming out just like throughout May.
Rigorita, the Pokemon. It all comes full circle.
And the trade-off is Europa
A lot of games.
Universalis, Evil Genius 2, FIFA 21, Floppy Nights, and Lawn Mowing Simulator are all leaving at May 31st. The only one that I really am upset about in the very, very, very slimmest of amounts is Lawn Mowing Simulator because that's the one game I've actually played with Game Pass.
I've seen
One of
it
the few
played.
games I've played on my Game Pass. But I don't
It
really get
is
into
a
those
crazy
simulator.
game.
Yeah, I really don't get into those simulator games much. But
Yeah, the best way is just not to do whatever they tell you. Just run over everybody's yard. Destroy it all.
Yes.
Who needs a
or
yard?
or
Who even needs
go
them
mow a
anymore?
lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, Grant,
I
this is for the
hate
people who live in apartments.
Like
I hate mowing.
you took the one thing that I like about mowing, or one of the
The
two
outside.
one of the two things. One thing is the satisfaction of clean cut lines, which I guess you can get in the game, but now I have to do that with a controller instead of a lawnmower. And so that's still there. But the other satisfaction was, yeah, being outside and getting exhausted, like doing something that just tires me out because I know I'm going to sleep good that night. Like doing some good physical work just is always a little good for the soul. And like,
Lawn mowing is definitely that.
yeah, I don't need.
We're Hank Hill on this podcast.
Dude, there was a I can't remember. I think it was the head coach of Clemson. Maybe I can't remember. It was either him or Ohio State's head coach. But there was an article about how he was the like one of the very few people that makes tens of millions of dollars a year and still mows his own yard. And they actually asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't. I think that's what's wrong with people today. No one mows their own lawn anymore. Like that's like one of the most satisfying pieces of life to do is to like just mow your own yard and like get the not only get the satisfaction of taking care of like something that everybody will see and something that's like the biggest part of what you own is your yard besides the house and stuff, and also
It's the
like just
part
the
that
physical
everyone will
the
see,
physical
though. That's the
activity,
thing.
the exertion, the work, like. And normally when I hear something like that, I'm like boomer.
That's dumb.
But that's
He's right.
it's a pretty boomer thing. Objectively, it still kind of is. But for that one specifically, I was like, you know what? He's got a point. Make America mow. 2024. I'm running for president. This is my official
finally, a
announcement.
confident precedent.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait. Hey, I didn't say anything about that. I'm just talking about mowing lawns.
Yo,
That's
if you're
okay.
running for
Cooper's when
slogan,
when did he actually end up running for anything with that slogan, or
I don't
was it
know.
just what he thought of?
What was the
Cooper's
slogan?
was walk, don't run with Cooper, or don't run, walk with Cooper. That's what it was.
Don't run. Don't
Walk.
Don't walk. Mow with Grant.
Don't run, mow.
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 Obviously, Grant's running. His first act will be college debt.
I'm all about
Wait.
cutting grass and kicking ass, and I'm all out of I'm all out of ass. Amazon.
They would.
What?
Could you imagine if any of us ran though? They would just play clips from all
Yes.
the episodes. Of
Oh.
this.
Yeah, that would be the first question at my at any of our announcement. Yeah, imagine my announcement. Don't run, mow with Grant. And they're like, do you remember? There's a quote here from episode 70 of your podcast where you joked about knowing the mailing address of Monster Energy. Why did you say that?
That's right. I do.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna just immediately just ruin my candidacy right there with that one.
And I would still, for legal reasons. That's
your buddy said something about mailboxes.
Yeah. So you said here you have you know their mailing address and you have a fascination with mailboxes. Is there anything you're trying to say with that? No. Actually, let me tell you about mowing around mailboxes. There's actually a lot of knowledge people don't know about that.
intricacies into doing it. Stop mowing. Go get your weed eater.
I really just wanted to mow Monster's lawn. I saw their mailbox while I was doing something that isn't important, and noticed that their grass trimming around it was poor.
And
I
it really
did it
shouldn't
for
be
free.
there.
I was sending them a bill though.
Yeah. Literally, me and my buddies, pretty much every other week, we're like, we can't hold public office, right?
It's okay.
Oh well. Amazon announces Amazon announced a Lord of the Rings video game.
Again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again. We'll believe it when we see it.
Um,
It will be exclusive for Luna.
it's gonna be an MMO. They haven't said any specifics of it. No title, release date, platforms, but almost certainly it's gonna be for
You ever forget
Luna.
that Luna exists?
No,
What's
because I
Luna?
need something to joke about now that Stadia's dead. And that thing has become Microsoft.
Got him.
It's not Luna. It's a
Sorry, Luna, you
Microsoft.
didn't make the cut. You're not trashy enough. Um,
It's kind of Luna, but like they don't do enough. Like Stadia did a lot.
yeah,
It was
Stadia was
always in the
always in the
news.
news. Which maybe that's why Luna's like, we're just gonna hang low for a little while under the radar.
Stadia
We're
was
gonna
always in the
wait.
news, and Microsoft's always in the news, so that's how it went. It should be Luna. It's not Luna because Stadia is always in the news, or Microsoft.
Playing it
Because
safe.
Microsoft's not known to be second worst.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Luna's
have
playing
standards,
it safe
okay?
and waiting.
They want to be
until,
first in the
streaming
worst
war
category.
starts.
Come back when you know how to act like a real company, like Microsoft. Then we'll talk.
Okay, Amazon buy Sega.
And a glow-in-the-dark Tears of the Kingdom keychain is now available for My Nintendo Physical Reward.
It's fine.
Cool keychain. It's about
Yeah.
we're as excited as you can be for a keychain.
Yeah.
Especially
Speaking
when
of
all
keychains,
keychains wear out on keys, so it's like I can't
well,
use it.
I get to display it somewhere, like I was doing with everything else.
Yeah,
I can display keychain.
and
Great.
personally, I hate keychains. I don't need my keys to be heavier than they must be. I was big into that when I was younger because I thought having a lot of keys meant I was a big boy, but I'm a big boy now. Maybe. And
Sometimes.
There's
I
a
can't-
weight
I
I
can't
want my
stand-
keys to have, and I've got it right now.
I just don't like the bulk. Like, I don't need my keychain to be a ball. I need my keys to be my keys. Like, car key, house key, bottle opener because I'm an alcoholic, and a little Type R flag thing because I like my car. That's about all. That's literally all that's on my keychain. I don't.
There's a weight my keychain has to have because it's always had that weight. And if it didn't, I would think I lost it.
Yeah, and also like I have a carabiner. Like I like clipping my keys to my pants to make sure I don't lose them like an
you
idiot.
don't want it,
And I don't need to be walking around everywhere I go. King, 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 king.
Or worse, it's like my pants are falling down.
Yeah, or oh no, let me find my keys. What's that Scott the Woz clip with all the keychain arcade machines? Oh no, my wife's about to give birth. Let me find my car key.
Yeah.
Oh god.
No, absolutely not.
That's hilarious. Yeah. But cool enough anyway. Old but still interesting tidbits. We've actually got two this week. So first one is an actually old tidbit. So Nintendo actually genetically modified a plant to create the Bacopa cabana, the Pikmin flower, in real life to promote the original release of Pikmin.
Aaron wants one, obviously.
Nintendo at one point participated in gene modification for Pikmin.
This doesn't surprise me.
For Pikmin. I love it.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's super fascinating. And
I saw somebody like asking, if anyone had any leads to like how to obtain one. I was like, that feels like something I vaguely remember hearing about years ago.
Genetically modify it.
Yeah, they said the original one could still be found, and I'm like, then you figure out how to genetically modify it.
I mean, I'm sure you can order a seed. I'm looking at so many images of them right now. Like, I have no idea. So, Bacopa is this type of flower. The one Nintendo specifically made, I guess, looks more like the get like the in-game flower, but basically it's all those kinds of like vine flowers that are like a bunch of little tiny flowers that like you can put on um like walkways and sides and things like that. Um so there's a whole bunch of them that all look pretty similar. I mean, I'm not a flower guy, so uh but that is interesting. Apparently the original flower is native to South Africa. There you go. The All Night Botanical
Multiple.
podcast.
Multiple fun facts.
Um,
Says they created it. Okay, so
so they created a specific version,
yeah.
but the the Bacopa flower is a type more like a genre. I don't know what's the thing above. What's the
Phylum.
yeah, the thing
family?
above species that's like genre. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I'd love to see the
There's a bunch of
difference
these kinds of
between
flowers.
theirs and the regular one, though. Like,
Yeah.
because the regular one already looks like.
Let's see. So the official name of the flower is the Canastoma cordatum. Um, I'm trying to find like
They
found like a
released a
random
press release on this back in 2001, and it is long.
like I'm seeing like there's purple flavors and there's
Magenta, which
white, pink, maybe a little violet. Um, I wonder if was it the white, like did they breed the white one for the game?
Probably, considering the fact that the first game it was white.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
me neither. I need more time to look it up, but cool anyway.
Yeah.
The other old but still interesting tidbit: the Tears of the Kingdom NPCs are the same as Breath of the Wild, where they're based on Mii's. So if you mod the game, you can import Mii data and make NPCs in the game. So that's just a little neat fact. All right, rumors. Sega might start charging $70 for some new releases. Will I
Sega,
can't wait to see what the first one is. I really can't wait to see what the first one is.
Sega, Sonic Breath of the Wild.
Sonic.
No, they tried that already.
Sonic Tears of the Kingdom, i.e., Sonic Frontiers 2.
I was gonna say, wait, they tried that. Sega doesn't know what they're doing. They just want to charge more money.
Facts. Disney and Square are working on a Smash Brothers inspired game called Disney Domination.
Good rumor. Good rumor.
Yeah.
I think it's the white version, based on what I'm reading here.
Alex is
About
3
the
steps
flower.
behind.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
The white version. We're talking about Disney.
So, I don't know how I feel about being dominated by Disney, but I guess we'll see.
I don't think this is real.
I'm not really into that, but we'll see. You know, I'm open.
It could be very interesting.
At least it's not being made by the team that made Disney Dreamlight Valley and the Cars game. Like, Square is a reputable company half the time.
Yeah, half the time.
Keyword.
Resident Evil 9, supposedly titled Apocalypse.
We've talked about this from before.
Yeah, it will be the last game to star Chris Redfield.
Interesting. Interesting. If it is, they need to bring everyone back.
Yeah, so we'll see how that turns out, but I think I'd agree with you there.
I mean, if you're gonna do one that stars Chris, though, you need to finish. You need to get people through his story, so they need to remake 1, Code Veronica, and 5.
Do you think that's what they're gonna do?
Maybe. I mean, that would give them plenty of time, but they haven't touched a single one of those games that actually tells the story of Chris.
True. So
So hopefully they remake them.
we'll see.
And I know Resident Evil fans will get really mad at me for saying they should remake 1, but I do think they should remake 1 again.
Yeah. GTA 6 is apparently going to cost between $1 and $2 billion for development, so it's going to be the most
Woo!
expensive development of all time.
That's
Woo!
insane.
Yeah, that's a lot.
GTA $1 billion, $2 billion. They'll make that back off shark cards.
Yep, that's what it is. It's not. It's not the game itself.
Yeah.
It's never the game itself. Very unfortunate, honestly.
Unless it sucks, which would be the funniest thing that could happen. Sorry,
I hope
GTA
not.
fans, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, if you can pull that off, you can do anything. You can spend look, put me in charge of GTA 7, give me $5 billion, I'll make sure it's the worst game ever.
And it will still make money.
And
Yeah, Grant sells the JPEG as the game with shark cards.
literally just sell Scrunt. Make Scrunt, sell Scrunt.
What happened to the other $4 billion, Grant? I don't know what you're
Who
talking
cares?
about.
What 4 billion?
You say that as if I was going to spend $1 billion on Scrunt.
You gotta buy it from that guy.
No. It's scant.
Scant.
You change you change a letter, and then tell some college students that you'll give them industry credit for developing it for you, like all
Everyone.
like no, specifically like the engineering. Grant, what you had to do it, the engineering design or whatever class to get your degree. Like it's one of the senior classes.
Oh, like your capstone?
Yeah. Yeah, just do it as a capstone.
Make Scrunt real.
Hey, Teach. So for my capstone, I was thinking about getting $5 billion from Rockstar and developing GTA 7 in 6 months. In the time frame of a capstone.
But we're not actually gonna develop.
But listen.
GTA.
If you don't tell them, I will give you $200,000.
I've got $5 billion.
I will pay your salary for 1 year. What's that? $5?
Got him.
Society.
So last of the rumors, of course, Nintendo's new console. According to sources close to Nintendo, development for Nintendo's new console, quote, seems to be progressing well, but a product launch won't happen before next spring at the earliest. See, at least you're going to give me a rumor that I can buy.
Okay. Somewhat.
You're not really saying anything. That's what I mean by I can buy it, because you're not really saying anything. All you're saying is it's probably not going to happen for a while. Which, that's a good rumor. I can buy that rumor. It's not going to happen for a while. That's a good rumor.
Even if you're wrong, you're right. Like you're lying, you're right.
Yeah. And also there is a new finance update from Nintendo that points to a new hardware reveal / release within the next 12 to 18 months, which I can also buy because we're at that point now. Like we've talked about it a couple of times, where we're breaching the life cycle thing that they talked about, like the longer than normal life cycle. And for
Yes.
Nintendo, it's basically always been 5. So we're in 6 right now. So to think maybe the next one is at 7, considering that it could be just a Switch 2 or something. I mean, I think it has to be some sort of a Switch in some form, even if the only form is backwards compatibility with the Switch, because I'm pretty sure the whole point of them building up this online user base was to keep it.
You know, I could buy a backwards compatible console being released, like basically the 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I could buy. Them ditching everything, I don't think so yet. Like
No,
some
there's no
leakers have started
reason.
putting out.
There's no reason that they would dump a over 100 million user base when the last time they dropped that, they had the Wii U.
Yeah,
And
I
know they don't want to do that again. I'm pretty sure they learned from that and don't want to lose a huge install base like that, especially when you want them all to be a part of your online ecosystem that you're
so
probably maintaining. Like,
I guess the one I could believe more is the new 3DS style.
Also, the fact that you
There's a
actually
couple of
named it
things exclusive,
Switch Online,
say what?
but like
the for the online user base,
it said
you
in
aptly
SO.
named it NSO.
Yeah, so like
Like,
you want to maintain that. You did the whole cloud save thing, so I assume you want to keep that running on the new thing. And like you've not like, and even forgetting all of that, you developed a ton of incredible games that you probably want to be able to keep selling, even if you can't sell them at 60 anymore because it's an old system. If you could still sell it for 30 or 40, like I don't
and
see
they
why you'd want to
would.
give that up. Like, because and like we're not just talking about games, we're talking about 10 out of 10s. We're talking about portability for so many great first and third party game. I don't know why you'd want to give that install base up when obviously like it works really well. And I know you want to
And
do new things, and I'm not saying you can't do new things, but there's no way they're going to drop that. So, like,
What Nintendo selects?
yeah, I could see that.
because
Possible.
But
like now that there's been 7 years, other companies are starting to make their own versions of the Switch. Steam Deck obviously being one of the bigger ones, but it's not the only one anymore.
It's just the most recognizable name.
yeah, and like this is the first point in time where I've heard the phrase "it might come out within the next 12 to 18 months" and also believed it. Like we've never really been in that time before. Like now we're going through 6 right now. So maybe 7, 7.5. I can believe that. Whereas if
Yeah,
you had told me
this
this
is
in
more believable.
2021, this would be like, oh, it's just the same old crap.
We did hear it in 2021, and we all went, no.
No.
Yeah, they said they were going to extend the life cycle, so no. But
Yeah.
now this is the first time where it's like, okay, now we can
It's like
start believing.
this we
maybe.
can believe, but it's like still kind of teetering on the edge of
Yeah, like
that extension.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I would not be surprised. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see it
Exactly.
either way. Like I could totally see them releasing a new console next year. I can also see them trying not to. Personally, I think by next year, from a hardware discrepancy, that they probably should.
Yeah, because I mean, specs wise, the OLED isn't like better, right? It's just for
Correct.
the
It's
portability
all
aspect.
usability improvement. Like it's not really performance improvement. And like the Switch and the Series S have a lot in common when it comes to development problems. The difference is that the Series S is the Series S and the Switch has over 100 million units. So like it's a lot more worthwhile to spend the time making games that will work on an older system, but that's only going to happen for so long. So
Yeah, eventually
you don't
they'll
want
be
to
like,
wait too long to put out something that is more upgraded.
Yeah, I mean,
Developers
you
are
know,
already upset, but at least they're like, we don't. It's not the same because Nintendo's like, we need you, but not
It's the
fully.
same reason
And
they supported
Microsoft's like,
the last gen so long, because like
yeah,
sure it takes more time to make these new games work on older hardware, but there's such a big install base that there's still plenty of money to be made. So we'll do
exactly.
it.
yes,
As where
especially
Microsoft needs them, and they are like, no, I don't wanna.
And that lasted, 2 years ish. And still
Yeah,
is for some things. It's not as big anymore, but like so it'll last for a while, but it won't last forever. So
yeah,
they shouldn't wait too long. You don't want to try to push it, but
right.
so I think if next year they don't release one, they're gonna start
Then it's
hitting
got to
that
be the
territory.
next.
Yeah, it's got to be
Yeah.
2025, if not next year, because like that's when they're gonna start hitting. I feel like that's when they maybe at least start seeing the potential for that effect, like in their budget. Not necessarily just
yeah,
knowing that it's on the horizon, but actually seeing people not
Possible, yeah.
nothing that we would know about, but like the backdoor negotiations, people start bringing that up more. Like we don't want to develop for this system because this and this. It's like really a bitch. We're not making as much money off of it. So I can see that starting to really happen a lot more next year if they don't have something new.
yeah, because well, Nintendo will still be making plenty of money because all their stuff is first party. All these other companies, especially if they're having to make new engines, uh, for whatever reason, right? Like there's only so long you can keep adding before it's like, you know,
Yeah.
There's gonna be a point when they're like, it's not worth it, and we're kind of reaching it,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's gonna be different than how the Xbox Series S is working, because developers just don't like working on that because they're like, it sucks. And
Well,
Microsoft's like, no, if you want to release on the X, you've got to make it for the S.
yeah, and like that's really the only reason they're doing it, because they're being forced to if they want it on the X
Yeah.
anyway. And like the Switch, they're not being forced to. There's just still money to be made. Like the extra
There's
money you're gonna
money.
spend to get it to run good or at least acceptably is smaller than the amount of money you'll make if you put it out anyway. So you might as still do that, but that gap closes over time. So
Yeah. We're
yeah,
starting. It feels like we're starting to reach that point of, eh.
yeah, because like
But cloud versions will starve this a little. We'll start seeing, if Nintendo doesn't release one by then, we'll start seeing a lot more cloud versions of games so that they can still release on the Switch.
and then everything's gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
correct.
Um, And so I want to use this to transition into our topic. So obviously our finishing topic is Tears of the Kingdom. We're gonna talk a lot about that. I want to
Great.
open with this based on that rumor. So like Tears of the Kingdom, performance wise, is it's fine.
Fine.
It's fine. Uh, it's
Especially for what I've seen of everybody making like tanks and stuff like that, where
I saw
and
like an
it's still
attack
like
helicopter,
running
dude.
pretty well.
well like it's. I'm not really surprised by that. They've obviously got this engine down pat pretty well. Even though it's not the
Yeah,
exact same one as Breath of the Wild. But it's
Oh,
based
I
on
was
supposed to.
comparing it to Age of Calamity.
Um,
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
like it's fine. It feels like when Breath of the Wild first released, and there's
Right,
just
so
a
we'll
lot
see
of
some patches.
slowdown. Like luckily there's not a lot. There's not really any slowdown when it comes to like making big stupid machines, which is good. But
But it's in areas.
it's in
I had
areas,
it.
and it's almost every time that I select either mostly the master hand ability, but that or fuse, like it's not in every
Oh,
area, but it's most every time I select it. I feel like there's just like it just drops frames for like a half second, and like
I'll agree with Fuse. It does not like
yeah, and
Fuse.
like after a second, it's fine. Like everything settles out. It's back to normal. But that first like
The-
second
It's
when
just
you select it,
turn
noticeable
on fuse.
enough.
yeah, and like you turn it on and then you rotate to select the item, and that rotation feels like brakes are in your eyes, which is frustrating. And like there's the stuff from Breath of the Wild where like very areas with a lot of small things. Like that's why the machines don't really bother you because it's still only like maybe 12 items, 15 items. But like big forests with a lot of grass, just like a ton of little particles and the trees and the obviously the grass.
Yeah.
That's what killed
Um,
Age
Stuff
of
like
Calamity.
that. Yeah, like that stuff. Like when there's just a ton of things going on, big explosions.
So I think because I'm actually seeing it now while I'm playing, right? I think there's a shit ton of culling going on. Even on an
For
area
it doing the build, yeah.
like even on an area as small as Eventide Island, right? Like it's because I walked I went and found a Korok or two, right? I went back. All the stuff that I was playing with despawned, went back to its original locations. I feel like that is how they're getting away with the items. Because they're just culling it all away.
yeah,
As soon as you walk away, that's it, game over.
and like the draw distance is still the same as Breath of the Wild, i.e., like you can see everything, but everything beyond a certain distance is like
Nothing.
just super low res, which Nintendo's been known to do in a ton of their games. Stuff that's not in your immediate vicinity is low res to save on
And that
resources.
is kind of and that's kind of how it should be, because otherwise you're going to burn out your systems.
Yeah, and look, like I'm not picky. I don't need 8K rocks, but I do feel that disappointment of looking at something in the game in my immediate vicinity and having played so much new games, just 4K games, 1440p games, seeing those textures and knowing that they could look a lot like just knowing that if everything in the game could run a higher texture and maintain a smooth frame rate, that I would definitely like it a little bit more. Like it's not anywhere bad enough to be game breaking. Obviously, I'm still having a great time with it. All of us are. Basically everybody in the world is. So this is really just a nitpick more than anything, but this is why I want a new console now, is just because like I want better looking games. I don't need them. You don't have to have it to be a good game, but when you're making a brand new AAA open world nature game, essentially,
That
you
is
want those things
$70.
yeah, you want those things to look really pretty. And I find myself missing that. Like everything just looks so smooth. Like there's not really a lot of texture to most things. And it's very obvious because you have to save on resources and get it to run. So I see everything that I've seen. I know why they did it, but I still would really like to have a new system, whether that be a Switch 2 or something else that is more powerful, just so that I can have that that next gen feel. Um, so
At least for docked mode.
I've thought about that a lot. I'm not sure if I don't like this feels too easy of an answer to me for something that Nintendo would do, so I don't think they'll do it. But I would love to see just a Switch 2 where even if the main console isn't all that crazy updated, which I think it should be, like you can easily you don't even have to get something from 2023, but you should get something that's newer than 2015. Um,
Put it in the
and
middle.
yeah, like get something from
So
2019, something in there. And like also AMD just announced like new mobile processors. They've been really good at mobile processors for a minute, and they just announced a new one. And we talked about that rumor a week or two ago, where that might be in the new console. Um, but even if you don't get the cutting edge thing, just something that gives you more performance in handheld, and then have the dock be similar to like those Razer does this a lot. Like you can buy a Razer laptop and then a GPU cage that plugs up separately. So like you can take your laptop with you, but then when you want to do hardcore gaming at home, you set it up on your desk and you plug in a Thunderbolt cable, and all of a sudden you've got an external GPU's worth of power, but you still retain the laptop portability. So like if you could make that the same thing, where like the dock has extra bulk in it to
Which, if I remember correctly, that is something that people were speculating would happen with the OLED.
yeah, and also Nintendo put out that
And
update that lets you update the dock firmware now.
yeah,
Even though
I
we've
was
never
just
had
about
that,
to
we've
mention
never had that, but yeah,
like it exists as a feature
and
for some reason.
it doesn't even have to be like, I'm not saying tape a 4090 to the dock, but you can pull pretty good graphics off of not that much space. And if you can, I'm not really sure what hardware I would think would go in there, but just a GPU booster of some kind to allow you to do even like, pretty low frill 4K stuff. And then maintain a 1080p 60 or 720p 60 on everything in handheld, then like I would really like that. But that seems like too easy of an answer. That seems like an upgraded like that doesn't Nintendo doesn't do that all that often.
And that would be like a Microsoft or Sony.
Yeah, but then again,
move.
they made the new 3. They could, but I don't know. It really just depends on if they make a Switch 2 or if they're making a new Nintendo console.
Yeah.
But yeah,
For
so
sure.
I kind of wanted to jump off with that. But other than that, the performance has been fine. Really, my only lag has come from big explosions and the abilities. But other than that, it's just Breath of the Wild. This game to
With
me
new
makes
abilities.
Breath of the Wild feel like a first draft. Like,
Yeah, I can see
and
that.
I have to come clean. I did not think of that on my own. That's from Nintendo Voice Chat. Highly recommend listening to that episode on Tears of the Kingdom. Spoiler free. Um, and I knew we were going to be talking about this, so I made sure to like spend a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to say. And I heard that and I was like, that's a great way to put it. Like when Cameron, when you and I were playing the other day, just like parallel, and I'd said that this didn't feel like DLC. I think that's what I was trying to come up with. It's like this feels like Breath of the Wild, but it feels like what Breath of the Wild
Was aiming for.
yeah, like
Not
looking
that Breath
back
of the Wild is a
now,
bad game.
yeah,
in any
it's a
way,
really
shape,
painful
or
thing
form.
to say, right? Because Breath of the Wild is so good. I mean, it literally won Game of the Year. Uh, but like looking back now, it just feels so rudimentary. Like this is like their idea that they had, and again, with no slander to Breath of the Wild at all, that I think that really encapsulates how good Tears of the Kingdom is. I've thoroughly enjoyed every bit of what I've played. Um, I'm very glad I played Breath of the Wild before this again. I'm more glad I did it on Master Mode because now everything's a cakewalk. It feels like in this game anyway. You can actually use bomb barrels and stuff and have it do something. Um, but yeah, everything's great. I can't believe that there are 3 maps. That blows my mind. The fact that they didn't even talk about the underground at all and all the stuff that's
Yeah.
involved there, and I still like barely know a damn thing about the underground because frankly I don't have enough hearts to go there.
Oh yeah, no.
You gotta pull
I
it out of Nintendo.
You really do sometimes. It really do be like that.
They're like
But
everything's a spoiler. No, it's just there's a difference.
um I I went to I think it's Lone. Hold on, let me look at the map. The Lone Island Coliseum. I ended up there, on accident, and being in the depths is very concerning when you don't have enough hearts. because all it takes is one hit, and you are essentially.
Yeah, and like you don't just need hearts, but you need special food that can heal gloom damage, and
I didn't realize there was special food that could heal gloom damage.
the only reason I know is because I find these they grow mostly on Sky Island, so like I don't think this is a spoiler.
Because
If you haven't played any of Tears of the Kingdom, mute the next 30 seconds. But if you've played literally an hour, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a flower that grows on the Sky Islands. It's called a sundelion, and it's like the only thing I found so far that it'll say it in the description that says like, will restore hearts destroyed by gloom. And I might have found one other thing. I can't really remember. I don't. If I have, I don't know what it is. But that's the only thing that'll do it. You can make food with that, and it will heal a couple regular hearts, and it'll have like a broken heart for the gloom and a plus number for like however many hearts it'll heal. But yeah, so I found that out the hard way. Gloom doesn't give you your hearts back. You can't heal that without special food. So
yeah, I also dealt with that. That I probably spent an hour and a half trying to clear that Coliseum just because I took gloom damage at the beginning of the fight. So I was trying to fight a silver bokoblin and a black bokoblin, and but the high rank, the ones
the
with a lot
strong
of health,
ones, yeah.
with 3 hearts.
Yeah, so
max.
one hit.
One hit. And spoilers, I guess. The final round has a bomb archer. You try surviving with 3 hearts on,
Yeah, with a guy that's
archer
literally
that,
there to do nothing except shoot bombs at you.
yeah. I mean, you can use. I definitely had to utilize them to be able to kill the other 3. Or, well, 2 of them. He actually killed himself as well. Uh, he got behind an item and tried to shoot me, and he died instead. And I was like, "Good, now I can finish this and be done." Um, elemental uh, doodads, very very useful. I like getting to throw things.
I have a little bit of up and down with that. I really like overall I enjoy the mechanic. I think it's a lot
I've
cooler
also died
to
to it.
I think it's a lot cooler
I
to find items in the world that you can use to make the things in Breath of the Wild rather than just have to find the thing, which in Breath of the Wild I often devolved to just going to the Gerudo place and buying all of the fucking arrows because that's the one place where she sold all of the arrows that you could need in the same place, along with durians. They might still be over there, but it's
I
definitely
haven't
be
made it
different
over
stuff.
there.
Me neither. I haven't been on the left side of the map at all.
I've
I lied
only
that. I've been a
been
little over there for a specific thing, but I can't talk about that.
I've been in the bottom right. I'm currently trying to get to a sky island that I saw on the map after I found the tower, and I can't get. I will. That is probably the most annoying thing, is that you have to have the rocks spawn in like the correct position in order to actually reach the sky islands.
Um, there is a really cool thing about those floating rocks that happened to me last night that I can't talk about because it'll spoil a tower, but it was a cool thing. It wasn't directly related to the tower. It was just a really, I'll just say it's really good timing. Um, but that was pretty cool to happen. Um, I remember when we were playing and I said Impa like, oh, Impa's dead.
Yeah.
So she's not. I won't say anything else, but she's not. I found that out. Also, I found Hestu, thank God, but he only
I need to
did
find
2
him.
slots. He did 2 slots and then was like, "All right, I'm heading east now. Hope to see you later." And east, based on my judgment, was not directly to the Korok Forest where he went in Breath of the Wild. So I have no idea if he's there or not. Also, I went to the Lost Woods and I have no idea how to do it. I didn't have a torch, so I couldn't test if it was the same way as Breath of the Wild. But all I know
I
is
need to find him.
if you walk past the entrance to Lost Woods, you get instantly
Oh.
consumed. Like I couldn't even find because like you didn't need the fire in Breath of the Wild. You needed something to tell you which way the wind was blowing. I think that's what it was to get there. And you could see the wind blowing in the place like around the door to the Lost Woods. So I tried to do that and it didn't work. And I was like, I have no idea. Anything you do in there after a half second, you just get consumed and put back at the start. So I don't know how that works yet. But also, I don't think Hestu's going straight there, which really pisses me off because I thought he was going to do 3. So I was going to do 2 weapons and a shield, and I did the 2 weapons, and then he was like, "All right, see ya." So I still have fucking 4 shield slots, and that was like the thing I needed most. I should have done that first. I didn't really think about it, but I need all more slots.
I need
so
more. I need more weapon slots for sure.
I need more everything slots.
I mentioned this earlier when I was tapping Amiibo, or I guess yesterday. But I have 2 White Swords of the Sky from Skyward Sword Link, and I had a third, but I didn't have enough space for it.
The amount
so
of stupid broadswords I've gotten from my Amiibo is not.
Dude, I'm so sick and tired of them.
But I do have the Goddess fabric. I have the Majora's Mask fabric, and I have the Champion's fabric. I still have not found Hateno Village, although based on Breath of the Wild, I know where to go. There's too many things to do. There's too many things to do. I'm out of pins. I can't track anything. I can't use the stamps because I'll forget what that was about.
I can't get where
the only worthwhile stamp is the one that's a chest.
Yeah.
I can't get where I want. I can't get enough storage.
Just get good, guys.
I'm
working on it. Hestu left me after 2 exchanges.
So I was looking. It seems the biggest complaint about this Zelda game is the disconnect from the world of Breath of the Wild. Like, there's no shrines, there's no guardians, there's nothing from that made the first game unique. It's all not there.
I mean, there are guardians, and way is just not a way anybody would want them. Because they're in the towers.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Their arms are being used for the tower, and it's the only. Because
so maybe that's what the DLC will delve into, because we know there will be DLC.
I mean, none of us actually finished Age of Calamity, did we?
No.
I know what happened, but no, I mean, it's a different timeline. It is not this timeline.
Okay, so this is following Breath of the Wild. This isn't following Age of Calamity.
I have to say, it's impressive how they. So if throw out the Sky Islands, throw out the underground, look at just the normal map. It's impressive how they managed to take Breath of the Wild's map and copy paste it, yet make it
remove a bunch of stuff.
They just completely change. Like the layout of everything is different, but things are in the generally same location as they were before, but the layout is totally different. Like now, I can't really talk about that, but like I'll use a very light.
It's so hard to talk about this game.
Yeah, like Kakariko is in the same general area, but the layout of the city is completely different from Breath of the Wild. I can't really say.
They just tore everything down.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'm really impressed how it's like just enough similarity for people who have played Breath of the Wild to have an edge, but
that's it.
Not so similar that it's the same map. Yeah, like it doesn't feel the same, and it doesn't feel completely alienated. It's just like the same general locations and the same general things, but the layout is different, the people are different, the architecture is different, the challenges are different, the format of going to a place and then having that moment that everybody has where it's like, oh, I should go do that. Oh, I should go do that. Oh, I'm out of pens again. Is completely different than in Breath of the Wild. Like when I go somewhere now, even if it's the same place, I had a totally new experience. When I was trying to find Hestu, this is the one spoiler-free thing I can say. So in Breath of the Wild, he was on the entrance to Kakariko Village. You go through the Dueling Peaks, hit the stable, take a left. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, bet. I'm just going to go. I got to do this now. I need more slots. This is killing me. So I went, and he wasn't there. And that is a little like that's kind of an easy one. Like, oh, let's just move Hestu. But the fact that it wasn't there did make it satisfying when I did happen upon him. Um, and also that like shrines are in different locations now,
I
slightly.
guess
Everything's a little different.
Well, including the
Cameron's
sky.
point would be a good idea if they had taken the idea of this is Breath of the Wild's timeline, this is Age of Calamity's timeline.
Yeah.
So that would explain the differences, but they're not.
No, it's still.
This is supposed to be a sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Have you? So first off, Alex, how much have you played? You said you played a little bit.
Yeah,
Have
I
you gotten
meant
to the
that
surface yet?
seriously. No,
I know you
There's
meant it
your
serious.
answer.
I know you meant it seriously, but I'm saying like literally how much is a little bit?
I beat a shrine.
Wait, you were supposed to play earlier before the show.
I didn't. Okay.
Oh, he's in trouble.
I'll get it done.
Are
Probably.
you off the Sky Islands?
No.
Okay.
He asked, "Did I get to the surface?" And I said no.
Okay. I didn't hear. I missed that.
Eh.
Um. I wanted the basis there. Cameron, have you
Oh.
been to any of the 4 main areas yet? Like the Gerudo, Zora.
The closest I got was when I went to the tower. I assume near the Rito. Maybe it. I went to the snow area, right?
Yeah. So
Actually, that
that's
might be in the opposite.
That's the Rito. The snow area is the Rito.
Is that wait?
Upper
Is that
left
in the
corner?
Yes.
bottom? No, bottom right.
Oh, there's a snow
Bottom
area
right
down
is
there.
Yeah, there's a giant. The only way to reach it, like that tower, is to have double cold protection. So, yeah.
Okay. So no, because
that was-
the Rito's in the top left.
Then I don't know who I was near. Probably not. I don't.
The one that's near there is the Zora, because they're like on the right center ish.
Oh, they're underneath the giant waterfall thing, right? Somewhere.
Oh, I mean they do have a giant
Or
waterfall
there's
there.
several. Well,
It's
no,
the
like
Zora.
Sky Island wise. I think there's several waterfalls though.
There are, but you'll know you're at the waterfalls of the Zora when you get there. I don't really want to say that more about that, but you'll know. I did go. The Zora is the only place I have been because I wanted a rudimentary look at what it was going to take to first beat one of the 4 areas. Like what's the general thing I'm supposed to do, which I still don't really know. And also, I want to see like what's the status on me getting that healing ability back from Breath of the Wild, Mipha's Grace or whatever, which you probably get in some flavor that's different after doing the main thing, which I don't know what to do. I did the first part and they were like, you got to go talk to that guy at this lake. And I looked at the map and there's not a lake named that lake around the Zora, but they said it was right over there. And I followed the whole way up, and I didn't. I have no idea what they're talking about. So that'll be. That's when I was like,
Amazing.
good enough.
Zora's in bad directions. Hey, go fight that Lionel up there. Where's up there? Up there.
You know, there.
Well, this is the frustrating thing because it's not like that at all, and I really want to talk about it, but I can't. Like, I think the most I can say is that Sidon's involved, which because he was in Breath of the Wild, it's the same guy. It's a totally different thing. Like the scenario and the story and everything's totally different, but he's involved. And when you go and talk to him at undisclosed location, he's like, "Oh yeah, go talk to this guy at this lake. It's right over there. He knows all about how to fix this thing."
Do that.
And I looked and I was like, "I don't see that. I'll see you later." I am happy to say that the Zora armor is a thing still, so that's good. You can get it from the Zora domain pretty quickly. I won't talk any more about it, but it's super, super easy, which, thank God. So that's nice to have double swim speed up now, because I also got the helmet from Mifa, the amiibo anyway. But that's the only place I've been to. I got a little close to Gorons, but I didn't go up there.
I need Do we? They're kind of off topic, right? But do we know if you can get the rest of the armor that they had
I assume
for the
so.
champions?
I mean,
Because
I've seen so many
I've
tweets
only gotten
from
the
all the
helmets.
Amiibo and Nintendo pages I follow. They're like, "Hey, check. Have you been scanning your Amiibo? Check out our guide." And I really don't want to.
I did, and everyone's like, Wolflink does stuff, and I'm like, have you actually tapped Wolflink? Wolflink is useless.
What? Food is very useful.
No, but like compared to all the others, Wolflink gives nothing. You do not get a chest with Wolflink. Everyone has been like bamboozled into thinking Wolflink is actually useful.
I mean,
Should have given him his own paraglider.
look,
Yeah,
he doesn't give me items. Uh, combat
And you
that,
items.
and
but
no,
he
he's
gives
not a
like
dog.
But I'm not going to say no to 15 pieces of meat, especially when I only have 6 hearts. You know how many
That's a good
meals
point.
that makes? 2 pieces of meat heals 6 hearts. You know how many meat skewers I've got on me right now? I'm the meat man. You can cook
I
one of the gourmet meats you get and get 6 or 7 hearts out of it. Maybe 8. Like, it's crazy how much stuff meat will heal. So, I'm not going to complain.
He's useful for food,
If
but
it's
I
only the
liked
one
his use in
amiibo,
Breath of the Wild more.
yeah, I agree.
well, yeah, but that was one of the most unique and actually you know
This is the
useful.
best amiibo.
Um, if you'd asked me before I played Breath of the Wild on Master Mode, like the timeline where we're here right now, but I didn't do that, I would be a little more distasteful about it. But now that I've gone through the Master Mode experience and have that remembrance of how good it feels to get a shit ton of food when you know you're going to get the hell beat out of you, it doesn't really bother me. I'm okay with that.
Good
Um,
point.
Yeah, I just wish he like actually gave something now. More,
yeah,
like more.
I
It would be nice to get because
at least
I
like a
mean,
fabric, like which one? I know
yeah,
one of y'all said that a second ago. But
yeah. Alex said that.
Carousel cloths.
Yeah, because I
Which
mean,
the best one is obviously the Skyward Sword Zelda one. Let's be
uh,
honest.
oh, I don't have that one because I stupid and forgot uh, Zelda and Link.
It
Or,
just gives you the sailcloth from Skyward Sword, and
that's
I've
cool.
always liked that one.
um, I did make so. Well, I guess I really can't talk about that. I'm gonna make one broad statement and nothing, and then elaborate. I think the story of this game is going to involve something about Zelda being a puppet. I literally don't know more than that. I can tell you my evidence for it, but that would be spoiling all the story I've seen up to this point. So
So let's not.
I can't.
Yeah,
But
Alex hasn't made it very far into the story.
well, even if he had, we're only one weekend. We'll come back to this when the spoiler thing has been lifted. Um
Which is whenever we have a slow news week.
I market it when I get my book. Spoilers are over. I gave you a month. We gave you a month. Uh,
Ish.
and so I'm really excited to see how that goes because it's a pretty interesting story. Like overall, my experience so far, this game's dark. It feels really dark. The areas, everything that I've seen, everywhere that I've been, the names of places, the way people act, the way things are set up, it's all very somber and melancholy. And I'm really interested to see where the story goes. Because between that and the Zelda puppet theory that I have, I really can see this game having a much more like
Bleak.
literally like I hate to bring this comparison up because it seems like this happens all the time anyway. But like Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask was obviously the super dark flavor,
Yeah.
It feels like this could line up to be much like that, except where Majora's Mask was a completely different Zelda game with the same engine. It's much more. It's a direct sequel, right? So there's like a lot more direct ties between the two games. But I'm thinking that this game is just going to be like the Majora's Mask of Ocarina of Time when it comes to being really dark and screwy and unsettling, frightening,
Yeah.
sad, depressing. Like I can really see, and I feel like I'm onto something there based on what I've seen. Plus, Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, it's in the name. Like, there's got to be
And
something.
they said the name was a spoiler.
Yeah. So like, I'm sure there's something there, and I believe that even if I don't hit all my points, that I'm gonna get something right about this.
Yeah.
Even if it's just the generic statement, it's kind of a dark game. Because so far it is. I think that's what's really kind of encapsulated me a lot is I've been given a reason to go through this map, even besides all the differences that they added and changed. That now there's like a spooky tale, like a serious, spooky, sad tale that like gives you the motivation to want to fix things again, because it's not just, oh, you woke up after the bad war. It's like everything's in ruin, and now our princess might be possessed. I think there's so much that could come in that story. I'm just excited. I want to be playing Zelda right now instead of talking about it.
So that
so
probably
excited.
pushes us towards Pleasant.
Yeah. But that's, oh man, there's just I felt so little of this map, and there's already so much I want to talk about. It's really hard to have restraint. And even if it's a month before we talk about things more seriously on the podcast, Alex needs to hurry up and play more of the game so we can at least talk about it amongst ourselves.
I'll just quit work.
I don't think that's a good idea, but
It's a great idea. I found free time.
How'd you do
By
that?
quitting.
I quit.
I quit. I quit. Exactly. See?
Every time I get a good rock, I end up like screwing it up slightly, and then I won't recall correctly.
That's a good place to end on. We're
Yeah.
messing up with rocks.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about this game extensively
A
in
lot.
the weeks to come, so don't be worried about that. You'll eventually get to hear our opinions on spoilery stuff, and eventually we'll get to talk about the story, and we can come back and see if I was a dumb idiot or not.
Dude, my old roommate has already finished the game.
Nope.
He did a 100-hour stream, and I'm just like, how do you
Impressive.
get that kind of free time, though?
Does he have a
You
job?
skip work. Yeah.
What?
Did you say he was a coworker?
My
Roommate.
old roommate from the college program. But he left Disney, so I don't know where he is now.
I mean,
Streaming on
somewhere
YouTube.
good.
He's
Yeah, I was
at
gonna say, like,
Twitch.
if he has a job, it's somewhere that gives him 100 straight hours at some point to do that. Maybe he took off. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
I
don't
would have
think
I would
so.
have taken off last Friday if I didn't already get it off because of my 980. But yeah, I think with that we'll end the show here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please share us with a friend. We post every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube.com/StormwindGames. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Again, please share us with a friend. Add us on Twitter at AllNightGamers with a K.
Also Instagram.
And yeah,
That's right.
Instagram,
Like, we never use it.
I guess.
We might use it if people will start following us.
Let us
Probably
know.
not,
Are you playing Tears of the Kingdom right now? If you aren't, why
Do you
aren't
like
you?
it?
Do you like it? Yeah, let us know. What's your favorite part about it? Are you a maniac that's already beaten the game? Please let us know, and we'll be back here next week for probably Tears of the Kingdom and some other stuff.
Definitely Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening again. Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey.